Hi everybody, it's Jacqui, Atcheson, and
Susan Greif. Welcome to Thursday's Thought at 3. How are you all doing today? And today's topic is hate.
topic is hate. Absolutely.
But before we go into our topics, why don't you tell everybody who you are and what you do?
Thank you. I am Jacqui Atcheson, certified divorce coach and founder at Better Path to Divorce. Remember, the past has been written, but you can rewrite the future.
And I'm Susan Greif, creative transformational expert and healing arts professional. I help my clients interpret their drawing so we can actually see their subconscious and what keeps them feeling paralyzed, panicked, powerless, and in pain. And then I propel them to a healthier, more balanced lifestyle with a mended heart. Yes, my company is called Art Men's Hearts. And today is Thursday Thoughts at 3. And so we're going to talk about hate because it seems to be so prevalent now.
Oh, so prevalent.
In the news, in the world, and every day in the newspaper you open up, there's another killing, there's another crime, there's another hate crime. It's always hate crimes.
Yeah.
And
big, little, small. Look what just happened in the school.
I know.
Last week was the synagogue,
Right.
the mosques, the churches. I mean, it goes on and on. So I want to read a quick definition, very quick. Hate crime. A crime, typically one involving violence, that is motivated by prejudice on the basis of race, religion, sexual orientation, or other grounds. Hey Amy, how are you doing?
So yeah, I think that's what it comes down to. It's all prejudiceness.
Absolutely.
It's like what we in our minds think it is about the other person. Like it's a belief system that was passed down to us. A belief is an idea that we have in our head, thinking that this person is, first of all, part of a collective group, and therefore he or she is similar to that group. Number one, or number two, it's a belief system that we came up with, thinking like it's a prejudiceness. That's what it is.
Well,
We prejudge.
Could you imagine not knowing somebody, not knowing anything about them, and hating them?
Yeah.
Think
Why?
about where this comes from. I mean, you look at little kids. They don't look at the fact if it's a boy playing with a girl playing with a boy, a group of boys, little girls. So what? A black little boy, an oriental little girl, you name it, in all shapes and sizes. Asian. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean that. Asian. It shows you how old I am.
Exactly. Yes, that was permitted years ago.
Yes, it was, and not meant in any way. But they're taught this, and why?
Right.
Understandably why, and what is it? And they're always, these things are fear-based.
Totally
Right?
fear-based.
So what do I tell everybody? I tell my clients, I would say fear. I use the acronym FEAR. False evidence appearing real. And that's exactly the point. It's not real.
Right.
Right?
It's just the stories we tell ourselves because somebody once told us, and we believe these stories.
Mm-hmm.
It's like sort of like a propaganda, actually.
It's absolutely propaganda. I mean, think about something now. Instead of taking it through the larger group, let's take it to a one-on-one, a small collective. Why do men rape girls? What was their story? That's a hate crime.
Right.
What's their story?
They must have some anger towards women in some point in their life, and they're redirecting it to other women.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, the hate crime is totally a reflection, again, of what comes up for them, their trauma, their stories, their belief systems, their traditions, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm. What you're saying is it's intergenerational.
It totally could be intergenerational.
Right?
Hi, Mary. Thanks for watching.
Hi, Bonnie. Let me ask a quick question, Susan, because, I mean, my kind of coaching comes through definitely exercises, role-playing, conversation. So it becomes a little more apparent for me once I get somebody to dig a little deeper and deeper. But how does it come up for you when somebody's drawing in their art?
So interesting that you say this, because when you're drawing, I think most people who have a hate in them, there's also a lot of anger that goes with it. And if anybody draws with like zigzag lines, like they want to rub somebody out.
Oh, okay.
If there's like claws, like jagged edges, that's very symbolic of anger, and that could be an attack, like need to attack.
Right.
You know, so usually dark colors, or even a blue and red color combination, because that's about like has to do with authority.
Oh, now I did not know that.
Right.
Interesting.
So it's for like the younger children. I'll see more reds and blues in their drawings.
Interesting.
Yeah. But, even if you think about, like, the monsters that are in the cartoons, they'll have, like, sharp teeth and sharp claws. There's, like, a lot, that...
So I think about that. Now, you take that little child who has that kind of anger.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I also know of little children, and I don't know if it's out of a mean spirit or something that's within them, that hurt animals. So, okay, they do the art for you. Hi, Deborah. What is it about the parents that don't take it seriously enough?
I think it's...
that allow this to grow? Or these same parents who end up knowing the child has an anger issue, having guns in the house, talking about the school shootings and what these children do.
Right. So, I mean, listen, I think there's a lot of deeper issues. And, of course, it could be intergenerational. And there are ways to prevent it. There's ways to let your child open up and discuss. And when your child, shows anger or shows hate, it should be discouraged. And truthfully, where are they learning this? Sometimes they're learning it at home. They may overhear your parents say, oh, I hate so-and-so, or I hate this collective group. And then they learn from that. I mean, it's kind of like saying, don't tell your child, tell your child not to hate, but you have to be a role model and exemplify what love is and what hate is, and show them the difference and how to deal with that.
But what about the child who, let's say, has these anger issues, and the parents tell them not to be angry, but there's a lot of yelling and screaming in the home?
Oh, totally.
What are they modeling?
Exactly. It's all about the role modeling.
The role modeling.
Hi, Devora.
Practice what you preach. Your actions speak louder than your words.
Absolutely.
Lessons for parents. And I know kids have anger issues. I know for myself, I don't believe a child should... They have to find constructive ways to let out their anger.
Yes.
And what I mean is, all right, a child is always going to be a child. And when they can't find the words, they're little, they let things out in other ways.
And you know what? A piece of paper, and scribbling on it is one way to release energy. Kick a ball around.
I was going to say, I used to have this big blow-up little boxing thing, like a dummy, like
a bozo. Like the bozo.
And I told my daughters that they were allowed to use that or a pillow. They are not allowed to use people. They are not allowed to hurt personal belongings. Don't put holes in the walls.
Right.
But there are constructive ways to let it out. And then when you're calm, we can have a conversation. Hi, Susan.
Well, hi, Susan. I think the problem is, I think we need to teach each other how to have a conversation, because like we were saying before, the definition of hate is through prejudice.
Yes.
Now, to have a conversation and saying, let me understand you and where you come from, and then let me tell you my story, so we can understand each other without making a presumption of what the other person is like. We don't know what people go through in their life.
Oh, no.
So, we can't hate the person because for whatever reason they're doing something, because they're reflecting their problem. And so I think it's so important that we teach our children. It starts from the beginning. It starts when they're young. Teach them about how to release anger constructively.
Correct.
How to express anger constructively. How to ask questions instead of making assumptions.
Right. Well, I'm going to go into quickly the male-female aspect, because I have a lot of that with male and female clients I work with. And I had a male today.
By the way, my battery's running low, so let's speak fast.
I had a client today, a male, very, he can't speak. He can't find words. He's always telling himself, calm down, calm down, calm down, but he is raging inside. He's an angry man. So mothers with children, grandmothers who can speak to their children, their mothers of little boys. This happens because little boys around the age of 5 or 6 are told not to show emotion, man up.
Yes.
Now, women have learned how to be in the workforce. We have taken on, with our estrogen and with our womanliness, how to be man and woman. it is really the men's turn now, because a lot of these violent crimes are perpetrated by men, whether it's race, religion, women. Young boys are the ones going into the schools.
Most.
It's not mostly. This is most. I always mean most. It's not a general rule. Teach boys that it's okay to express their feelings, to let out anger in a constructive way, and then to find the words. They shouldn't be taught to man up and shut down their feelings, because this is where a lot of this comes from. And we do have to get going, as Susan said, because her battery is running low.
But I just, I think this is such an important conversation. I think we need to all have this conversation, because we're expressing through anger, we're expressing through frustration. We need to be heard, and I think everybody's shouting at each other,
Right.
whether through weapons.
Right. Find the words.
Find the words.
Let people know what you need in a loving way. Is it important to be right, or is it about the relationship? And that's really, even as adults or as children, what is it you need to get across to the people you love to make this world a better place?
Right. And it starts from the home.
Yeah, absolutely.
Teach your children, because they hear you. They hear what you're saying, whether you think they are or not.
Right. So Susan, takeaway for today.
My takeaway, put me on the spot here.
Yeah.
My takeaway today, I think, is to have a conversation, to understand what people go through, to have empathy for the other person, to forgive sometimes the other person.
And we forgive for ourselves.
And this is all about ourselves.
Yeah.
And we were just talking about even like a child who does shooting, like why? I mean, there is like a mental component. Like he is reflecting his anger without expression. So we're saying that. So, get in touch with your children. I think that's such important. I know parents are out there working now, and it's hard for them to be at-home parents. But if you're on top of your children, make sure you have dialogue with your children all the time, no matter how it does, whether through art, whether it's through having a conversation, whether it's through playing a game.
Know what they're reading on the internet and on their little tablets. Know what they're doing.
Yeah.
My little guys all of a sudden want these Nerf ball guns. They love watching this.
Right.
There are no Nerf ball guns in our house.
Yeah, we have to be very careful of what they're learning.
Because they don't know the difference.
Right.
They're little. Susan, what do you do? Tell us what we're going to finish up with for everybody, because your phone is absolutely running dry.
Let me reach out to either one of us. If there's an issue, if you have an issue, if you have somebody around you with an issue, if there's anger, if somebody's hating you for some reason, let's have a conversation. Private message, Jacqui or me, or you can reach me at artmanshearts@gmail.com and follow me on my website at artmanshearts.com. Follow me on all my social medias at artmanshearts.
Yeah, and Jacqui Atcheson, Better Path to Divorce. Again, a very negative thing. Brings out a lot of negativity, but we work on it. And I'm here to help you. And if anybody has a topic they would like to hear or want to be a guest, we're starting up with guests again the end of May. Right now we're working on some relevant topics because of what's been going on in the news. And again, if there's anything you guys want to hear, Jacqui Atcheson, Better Path to Divorce. Okay, so we wish you all a great, great weekend. Happy Mother's Day to everybody.
Day, everybody.
And see you next Thursday. Peace
out.